Mambo Team Africa Worldwide. It's your brother Konate coming to you once again with a video. I said that I was dedicating my channel in 2020 to my quest, my journey of learning Kiswahili, which is true, but at the same time, there are other things going on in the world. Uh, One thing about my channel is, as much as I would like to build it up and gain as many subscribers as possible, I don't clout chase, I don't instigate beefs, and I don't use other YouTubers' names or celebrity names in order to get views. I don't do clickbait unless it's a joke, but something happened that I am responding to a little bit later than everybody else. I was thinking about how to go about it. And so, as you will see, the name of the video is What Defines a Conspiracy Theory? Okay, and what this video is about, it's about the passing of our brother Kobe Bryant and his daughter. Um, Condolences to the family and to all of us who are in mourning. But what I wanted to point out about this is that number one, uh, in spite of how much of a role model this man was, despite of how great of a basketball player he was, the media immediately started trying to trash his name. And that is indicative of what the colonizers have been doing and continue to do to our people. So that's evidence that it doesn't matter how rich you are, it doesn't matter how famous you are, it doesn't matter how accomplished you are. If you are black, living in the United States of America, or in Europe, or in Canada, or in Australia, or in Asia, then you're treated less than a lot of people treat pets, treated less than, with less admiration than most Caucasians would give to a German Shepherd. So with that being said, I want to go a little bit more into the title. What defines a conspiracy theory? Whenever people try to think a little deeply about a particular topic and try to connect some dots, they're labeled conspiracy theorists, and then they are basically laughed out of the discussion. Okay, let's break down this term conspiracy theory. What is a conspiracy? A conspiracy is simply a plan. It's not just a plan by one individual, but it's a plan by two or more individuals. That is the definition of a conspiracy. What is a theory? A theory is an idea that's probable, that's possible, but not 100% proven to be true. So with these definitions in mind, that means that conspiracy theory is an idea about two or more people planning to do something. My question is, what's so spooky about that? What's so unbelievable about that? If you plan to rob the corner store with your neighbor and one of y'all go get a gun, and then the police know about it and they catch you, you are going to do crime. You're going to do time, even though you never robbed the store. You're going to do time for conspiracy to commit robbery. And so that's all it means to conspire. So people need to stop demonizing people who think deeply about topics, and label them conspiracy theorists, and a label to dismiss their ideas and dismiss them from the conversation. So back to our brother Kobe. Um, he died at 41 in a helicopter crash. Kobe was, from everything that I have seen, was an excellent father. Kobe was one of the greatest athletes to ever live. Kobe was not a person that balled out and wasted a lot of money. And it seems like outside of basketball, they like to talk about the Grammy he got for a short film, or it might have been an Oscar. I get those white people award shows confused. I don't really watch them. But what I was impressed with Kobe was that Kobe started a tech investment company. In the last interview that I saw with Kobe Bryant, prior to his death, it may have been maybe a year or so ago, he was being he was being interviewed about how successful his tech investment company had become and the money he was making. And the interviewer asked Kobe, what would he want to be known for, being a NBA champion or a great businessman? And this brother's answer was he would rather be remembered as a great businessman. And I just applaud that, because there are, millions of people who look up to this man, and a lot of young brothers who their dream is to become an NBA baller. I used to have that dream when I was a teenager and a young man. And there's only so many slots, no matter how good you are. So it's basically like becoming, it's like winning the lottery. Everybody might have the dollar to play the lottery, but everybody's not going to win. And there are a lot of young black men who have the ability to play sports, but there are only so many positions. There are always people who out there who are excellent ball players and never get that shot, but they put all their marbles in that one bowl. They put all their eggs in that one basket, and then when that doesn't work, they get injured or they catch a case or something happens that derail that plan, then they have no backup. And so I just really look up to Kobe for thinking the way he thought and answering that interviewer's question the way he did. Maybe somebody can look it up. If I find the video, I'll put the link in the description box below. But if you know about that interview, please just put it in the comments. But back to conspiracy theories. Has anybody ever questioned why so many celebrities die young? I mean, think about this. They are an extremely small percentage of the population. So by them being such a small percentage of the population, how is it that such a high percentage of celebrities, especially black celebrities end up dying early. And usually, it's never the ones that we are ashamed of. Usually, it's the ones who are an example of excellence, or it's the ones who are speaking truth to power, or it's the ones that are savvy business people. I mean, if something happens once or twice, you can call it a coincidence. But if it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over again, you got to kind of look at that a little more closely. To me, that can't be a conspiracy. I mean, that can't be a coincidence. Um, and and we know. I mean, just looking at examples of of Bill Cosby and others, that the United States will not allow a black man to accumulate a lot of money and pass that money along to black children. It seems to never happen. I saw an interview with Eddie Griffin. He was talking about that. It's like whenever a black man makes a lot of money and he's famous, he's in the public eye, he almost never gets to pass that money down to his children and his grandchildren. And you can think this is a coincidence, but it's strange to me. Kobe Bryant died on the day of the Grammys. He died the day after LeBron James broke his scoring record. That's odd. Don't you think that's odd? And there's so many people, and a lot of us, even black people, we don't want to think that celebrities are being murdered. One of my favorite YouTubers, I mean, he always attributes these deaths to jealous, dusty Negroes. And I'm like, man, now what are you saying now? Dusty Negroes are bringing down helicopters? It's just kind of crazy. I apologize for the lighting. I have every light on in this place, and I seem to never be able to get enough light. I got to get with other YouTubers to find out how they're lighting their videos, because I have on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights and the window open. It still seems to be not enough light. But I digress. Prior to Kobe Bryant dying, not too long ago, the rapper Nipsey Hussle died. And Nipsey Hussle even spoke prior to him dying that if he was to be killed, that we should ride for him. And then he gets killed after that, and we believe this was gangbanging. It was, when the person, it was jealousy. I mean, when we saw the interviews about that, about what happened, it didn't line up. It didn't make sense. There was a car that was in the parking lot that disappeared from the crime scene. There was some white guy that engaged with the shooter prior to the shooting. There was a lot of weird stuff about that case. But we're gonna write it off to jealous, dusty Negroes. Prince, he fought for years to get ownership of his masters. He gave the publishing to Little Richard, back to Little Richard, and they never played Prince on the radio when he was alive. I don't know if people noticed that. They never played Prince on the radio because they didn't want to pay him. And then after he died, you just hear him on the radio all the time. He wasn't on YouTube either. You know, it might sound strange that I'm saying this about YouTube and I'm a YouTuber, but the facts are the facts. Um, he was all about, he had this expression, let the baker make the bread. And then it's a coincidence that, you know, he ends up being found dead in the elevator when he made a song about the elevator being symbolic of um, transportation between heaven and hell. Um, you know, Michael, you know, and they say, want to say he drug overdose. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson um, was speaking about how he out negotiated Sony Music, and he was going to make one more album that was already done. He was going to release one more album that was already done, and he was going to fulfill his contract and leave owning half of the company. And you people believe that he just died from some drug overdose. Whitney Houston died the day of the Grammys, and we saw the video of her being terrified and passing a note to Brandy, and you know, and then the same thing, her daughter Bobby Christina had experienced a similar drowning incident a couple of days before that, but survived it, and then you know later she ends up passing. All types of confusion around the Tupac and Biggie cases. And then, you know, Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, passes young. Um, you know, Reggie White, the football player, starts speaking a lot of truth to power. He ends up with cancer and dies. Um, you can go back to Bob Marley. Bob Marley was opening up a lot of eyes, and then um, he's about to do a U.S. tour, and then he dies from cancer. Um, Louis Farrakhan once had cancer, and he got rid of it. Dick Gregory had cancer, he got rid of it, and he said that the type of cancer he had only came from when people work in nuclear facilities, and he had never been inside a nuclear facility. And it might sound crazy. I remember I met Kwame Ture once, and it was a small group of people after a lecture, and he said that the FBI had gave him cancer. And when I heard that, you know, I thought it sounded odd. I was like, I admire this brother, but that's far-fetched. That sounds strange. How can somebody give you cancer? I thought that was just something that happened to people, but I didn't think it would be something that could be passed. But now, after all these years pass, that brother sounds a lot more credible. You know, you talking about Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She was getting real close to Dr. Sebi, and she went to live on this compound with him. And she said that she was going to make him famous because he healed her of some problems, and she said she was going to make him famous. And then she's ran off a road, and I mean, we're going to chalk up all these deaths to coincidence. You know, even Bill Cosby, son being murdered on the side of the road, you know, was fishy. Kanye West's mother dying is fishy. Jennifer Hudson's family dying, being murdered, that's fishy. Come on, I mean, how many stories do I have to mention? I mean, we're gonna chalk all this up to conspiracy. I mean, the truth is that these oppressors, these colonizers, do not want African people to be prosperous. They do not want African people to be positive examples for other African people. And what we need to do, I know it's not easy for all of us to pack up and leave, but we need to fight for what is ours here. But ultimately, all of us who can, we need to go back home to Africa, and that's for real. And I know Africa has its problems, but I'd rather go there and fix those problems if I can, and if not, I like to die trying. So the only reason why I'm not there now is because I've been trying to think of support myself financially once I arrive on the continent. And I think I've come up with that plan. It might not sound glamorous, but over these years, I have went to numerous colleges and universities, graduated from some of them, got a bunch of the white man's credentials, and the veteran of the armed forces, and on top of all of that, I'm still struggling financially. So I decided that I'm going to be a blue collar person, like my dad was. I'm going to learn mechanics. I'm going to learn how to fix everything that I can fix, from automobiles to tractors to bulldozers to generators to everything. And I'm going to take these skills home to Africa, and I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to become a mechanic, and I may go on to take some classes and become a mechanical engineer. And I'm going to go to Africa and start my own business. And I'm planning to do this within 2 years. So, I don't know what your plan could be, but you better think of a plan, because, whether you want to believe it or not, we're being slaughtered. We're being slaughtered by police. We've been slaughtered with this food that they're serving. We're being slaughtered with pharmaceuticals. We're being slaughtered with vaccinations. We're being slaughtered economically. We're being slaughtered in the media, and it's no reason to just keep trying to believe that we are ideological Americans. Like, yes, I will be the first to say that I'm a legal American, meaning I'm a citizen of the United States of America, because I live here and my passport is U.S. I was born here, and my immediate ancestors were born and died here. But at the end of the day, we are Africans, and Africans belong in Africa. And so I think I'm ranting a little bit, but to sum this up, I just want to say rest in peace to the brother Kobe Bryant and his daughter, who have gone on to the ancestor realm. And I want us to wake up and see what's going on. This society is not going to allow Africans, especially African men, to rise up, become prosperous, and be a positive influence in this society. They just won't. They just won't allow it. And integration is a lie. Inclusion is a lie. Diversity is a lie. And so, if we're going to fight, we can do some fighting here. But as one of my favorite YouTubers always say, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Let's also fight on the continent. Let's go build up the continent. So with that being said, Asante Sana for watching, and Kwaheri Kwasasa.